everybody, Dana here again with more Tuesday tips for leaders of volunteers, and this week we're having a back to school special for Tuesday tips. It's mid-September, and in the United States that means that most high school students, most teenagers are back in school online. Some of them are back in school in person or doing a hybrid of that model. And with the start of school comes also the requests for community service that is required of most students at that age, most teenagers, most high school students. And that turns the kids into a couple different categories. One are the voluntolds, who are already overwhelmed. They're just not feeling the volunteering thing. They don't want to deal with it, and they procrastinate till the last minute. And then you get a panicked phone call the weekend before their 10 hours are due, and they need something right now, and they're freaking out, and their parents are freaking out, and everyone's freaking out. I've had a lot of those phone calls over the years with different agencies. The other group of students that this community service requirement creates are those who are already super engaged with volunteering. They're in student council or service groups, service clubs. Circle K is a big service club, at least here in California, or scouting groups or faith groups where there's a component of certain number of volunteer hours for their faith organization. So kind of tapping into the proactive students can help when you get the calls from the voluntold procrastinating students. So really my first tip on back to school student volunteering is have these proactive relationships with the school, not just the principals and the teachers and the adult government part of the school. Be in touch with them, of course, but really have as much as you can, and volunteers can set this up. You don't always have to be the department of one or the main person doing this, but have formal communication and relationships to kind of get ahead of what volunteer opportunities your agency or agencies in the area can offer for youth that need to do their community service hours by certain deadlines. So it also really helps to have the youth bought in early and often by connecting with, again, these student councils or these service clubs or service groups ahead of time, that teenagers get to develop a really important life skill of making their own decisions, planning things out, having a sense of control and agency, which I know as a teenager, like that was a huge factor. I was like, you're not in charge of me. I want to make this decision. That's the age where that's happening. This is also an age that's so crucial to building empathy and emotional development and social relationships and just general coping life skills in a very stressful world, that having an answer about a volunteer youth opportunity with your agency or with other agencies is really helpful to any stressed out student or any stressed out parent looking to fill those community service hours. So that's that one part of this Tuesday tips. The next part is about, well, what's your interagency communication or policies on youth volunteers? And does everyone who needs to know what the policy is know what the policy is? So having regular learning events and teaching even just a 30-second quick answer elevator pitch, or having a quick post-it note or a quick little answer sheet by reception desk telephones, having any volunteer or paid employee or vendor who might have anything to do with getting asked by the public, do you have youth opportunities, have them have those answers. Yes or no, do you even offer youth opportunities? If so, what's the minimum age? And then what are some of the tasks or roles that teens can do? And finally, letting people know, like, what, if they ask, what are those safety policies? Are there background checks on all adult volunteers and employees working with youth? Is there a certain policy? A grown-up can't be alone with a teenager, like whatever that is. Having a really clear communication about what your youth, teen, working with minors, agency, program, policies, activities are, is essential. And again, this leads into someone's cold calling the agency, looking for an opportunity, even if you can't do it there themselves with your agency, direct them to volunteermatch.org or sister agencies in the community or something online that you think can accommodate that request. So having this information and giving people a positive answer, even if right now it's a no to them volunteering, is really great community building and really great relationship building. You never know who that teenager is. Are they going to circle back later in life, months or years later, and be a part of your volunteer talent pool, or be inspired, or have just a positive impression of like, oh, that's how you can say it's not possible right now, but here's something else to think about. So all of that's really, really valuable to teenagers, to people at that age. The other part of the Tuesday tip is making sure whatever your youth policy is, but if you are working with families, different ages of people, minors, that your safety policies for in-person and online are rock solid, that you have a very clear policy, you have a very clear training or teaching process of how people know what the policy is and how safety is ensured for the population working with kids, for the kids themselves, and just everyone in the whole agency and the whole community. Have those be really, really clear. Possibly even, consult with your legal department and bring in outside experts to help teach and train and develop those policies if you're not sure about it. Also keep in mind that there's stranger danger in real life, which we're pretty well trained to, but there's also the same dangers and risks of harm or litigation that can occur with online volunteer activities as well. So don't assume that, oh, it's online, it's automatically safe. Have a really clear policy in your youth policy about communications between adults and minors, and social media or social interactions, and what are the boundaries and the rules around that. All of those are really, really important details to everyone doing the work in your agency, in your organization, in the community, feeling the 3 C's: comfort, convenience, and connection to the mission and the work that you're doing. I talk about the 3 C's in many other Tuesday Tips videos, so feel free to dig into those. And I also want to give a special final little tip that this is such an important time in anyone's life, and this is a really critical point in the world that we need all hands on deck to get done what has to get done to fix a lot of our issues socially and with the environment and climate change. And there are so many fantastic organizations formally working with youth, mutual aid, spontaneous, informal volunteering. So there's a fantastic talent pool out there of Gen Z and others who you can plug into. You can help get that enthusiasm and that engagement by finding where it already is and creating these stronger community connections with our student volunteers and our youth, because hey, they're the leaders of tomorrow, and they're going to inherit some really big shoes to fill in the work ahead. So I hope you've enjoyed these Tuesday tips for Back to School special, and I'll catch you next time. See you then.